Hey, it's Sam, and I'm going live today here talking about Jupiter moving back and forth in 2020 between Sagittarius and Capricorn. And this is going to be very important. It's something that I talk about in my 2020 forecast because, again, we've had Jupiter going through Sagittarius. Then on March 29th, Jupiter is going to enter Capricorn until June 29th. So for 3 months in 2020, Jupiter is going to poke his head into Capricorn. Then he's going to go back into Sagittarius later. So, of course, this is going to be very important, based on whatever sign that is for you, whatever house those two houses are between Sagittarius and Capricorn, that's going to be a very important shift. And you want to know that I just finished, I also just finished my 2020 forecast. I'll show you here. This 2020 forecast. It's this one, my 2020, here it is. My 2020 Vedic report. If you go there, you'll be forwarded to these forecasts, and you can get the one for your sign that explains that to you. Because those two signs are going to be so important in 2020, Sagittarius and Capricorn. Because first, again, Jupiter starts in Sagittarius, and then he goes back into Capricorn, he goes into Capricorn, and then he goes back into Sagittarius after June 29th. So this 3-month period, which also includes Jupiter's retrograde cycle, are going to be very important. So besides the, how it's going to affect you in your forecast or whatnot, the first thing to understand is the difference between Sagittarius and Capricorn and how those two signs are really aligned with each other, and how one leads into the next. Now, you may hear me talk about this at times, but what's very important is to understand the specifics of how those things work, because, how those things work have a lot to do with the specifics of, and the common themes that we all go through and that we'll all go through next year. We see this in the collective awareness. This is why I talk about things, frankly, even sometimes more than I like politics and whatnot, because it's stuff that we can all see. And what's going to be happening, Sagittarius moving into Capricorn, is where those things that we feel are righteous and right and worth following and that give us hope and inspiration and purpose, that's Sagittarius. They then become a focal point where we need to commit and work hard and concentrate our energy on things. That's what Capricorn is. And so the shifting of, when planets move from Sagittarius into Capricorn, this is what is happening. It's shifting from the inspiration of Sagittarius, which comes after the imagined fears and stress of Scorpio. Imagined fears and stress of Scorpio means now we need to, again, uproot that darkness, plant seeds of good teachings and truth, nurture them, water them. So now we have this inspired purpose and direction. That's what Sagittarius is. But then after that, it becomes Capricorn, which is now that you've got something that you believe in. Okay, great, big deal. Now you need to work hard and focus on it. And I say that without any irony at all, because yes, big deal. Everybody has something that inspires them. Otherwise, you would have killed yourself by now, to be very Saturn, right? It doesn't mean that the thing you believe in is so great, frankly. You might believe in all kinds of stuff. Most of it's not that great, often. And again, I'm not even talking about our high gurus, but we have beliefs about all kinds of things. You have beliefs about money, beliefs about partnerships, beliefs about, work. You have all kinds of beliefs. So Sagittarius is just where we generate a lot of beliefs and philosophies. hopefully we have a good one, and we have an all-pervasive philosophy about life where we actually really understand the nature of life, for example. Because once we get a great, what's called a Sat Guru is the ultimate guru because that teaches us the nature of existence. And once we tap into the nature of existence itself and see ourself as just an emanation of that divine existence and of those divine forces, and we know ourself truthfully, then that one shift shifts everything else. So again, everything boils down to how much self-knowledge we have and how much those things that those philosophies we have are connected to pure wisdom. Because pure wisdom is deeper. Again, this is why the beginning of Sagittarius is uprooting the bad philosophies and planting the seeds. Because again, this means you need to find a great guru and a great teacher and teachings that show you philosophies and things that are much deeper than all of the other compartmentalized things. So again, that's Sagittarius. But then after that, you need to then put it into practice and work hard and focus on it and concentrate on it and do it over and over again, even when you don't feel like it, and sacrifice and commit and deal with all of the pressure and the pain and the difficulty and the fears, all that stuff that's not so inspiring. Oh, I'm so inspired. Well, no, I'm not. Now I'm in Capricorn and it's not all inspiring anymore. It's hard work and effort, and I got to face all the pain and struggle and challenge. Yes, you do. And so that's what Capricorn is about. And so we can see that Saturn goes into Capricorn in early next year. It actually goes into Capricorn January 24th. And again, this is all part of, it's also part of the 2020 forecast that I'm doing, where I take the 10 most important shifts and interpret them for everyone. And then my regular forecast, the 2020 personal forecast, I do it for each of the 12 signs. But first, Saturn goes into Capricorn in January 24th. And then, like I said, Jupiter goes in a couple months later, you'll see, but this is March 9th. And then this is March 16th, March 23rd. And then by the 30th, Jupiter has now poked his head into Capricorn. So again, it was March 29th until June 29th. Then Jupiter goes in there. Then he turns retrograde May 14th, I believe it was. Yeah, so by May 18th, he's retrograde. So it's May 14th, Jupiter goes retrograde. Then he goes back into Capricorn. I'm sorry, Sagittarius, like I said, June 29th. So this is a great opportunity for us all to really dive in and connect with those things that make us inspired, then focused and concentrate on those things that inspire us and make a commitment to them, and then get re-inspired again. So the reason Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn is because Capricorn is the sign where everything is not so fun or everything is not so inspiring, where we have to really focus and work hard to be inspired. And, that those inspirations are hard fought and hard won in Capricorn. Because again, after the inspiration and purpose of Sagittarius and all the excitement and I found a teaching and I'm all inspired, then comes the hard work. And then the Jupiter part of us, which wants to feel that grace flowing, doesn't necessarily feel so good in the efforts required in Capricorn. So what can happen in Capricorn, and what happens when Jupiter goes into Capricorn, as you see here on this explanation, March 29th through June 29th, it says Jupiter's in Capricorn where he's debilitated. A loss of hope and inspiration may be revealed now. It may be hard to remember our teachings. So all these teachings and all this inspiration and all that uprooting in Mula Nakshatra, which is the first part of Sagittarius, and of course, this is all sidereal zodiac. Vedic astrology always used the sidereal zodiac back in the Vedas, all the Vedic astrology texts, Ashwini and Aries aligned. It's always sidereal. The first section of Sagittarius is Mula, where we pull out the roots, plant new seeds. Then we water those seeds in Purva Ashada, nurturing those teachings. Then we have to make a deeper commitment to those teachings in Uttara Ashada. And that's where Sagittarius becomes Capricorn. Uttara Ashada, which means later victory, where our victory is guaranteed, but it's guaranteed when we do the work. We have to uproot and plant the seeds, then nurture the seeds, then do the work to make the thing grow, right? But when Jupiter goes into Capricorn, we might forget our teachings. Now we need to do the work. But at that time, when Jupiter is in Capricorn in 2020, for a big part of it, Mars 22nd to May 4th, Mars is also there. So Mars is there, but Saturn is there the entire time as well. So this, quote, debilitated Jupiter by transit will be with the house lord, Saturn. So Saturn will give a lot of, a lot of determination and effort to get through. And Mars will give a lot of courage, at least until May 4th. So you can see March 29th through May 4th, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars are all in Capricorn. So a lot of Capricorn power. But again, you should understand this dance between Sagittarius and Capricorn is going to be going on, especially at the beginning of the year. And again, you want to go and register for the web class that I have. It's free. You can just get the free web class at 2020vedicastrology.com. Again, you see if I type it in, 2020vedicastrology.com, when you go there, it just forwards to this registration page. Then you just click and find a time to do it. You can either watch it instantly or pick the upcoming replay. I mean, it's replay, but it's a live web class that's going to play. It was recorded live. But again, I'll just put it here in the comments, because it's, very easy to do. People ask if it's possible to get a reading. Sure. You have to be on I usually just announce readings to people that are on my email list, and they go very fast. So that's what it is to get readings. So, but again, this, 2020, all of these shifts that you saw me describing here, I talk about, it's about an hour and a half. And the other thing that I'm doing that I really talk about is also Saturn in Capricorn for the next 2 years in your sign. Because again, I'm also going to talk about each of the 12 signs and how this sign of Capricorn, and especially Saturn going through Capricorn for the next 2 years, for the next 2.5 years or so, is going to affect you. It's a huge year ahead in 2020. All this Capricorn energy, especially. All those planets piling up early in the year in Capricorn. And then later in the year, there's also some very important things, especially, with Mars hanging out in Pisces and Aries from June 18th to the rest of the year. Then we have some eclipses in Gemini. Then Rahu and Ketu change signs. All of this is very important. These are the 10 important shifts. And this is a free web class for you to discover that. And again, I also just finished the personal forecast as well. If you go to my2020vedicreport.com, it goes right here. You can get the one for your sign because I also interpret that. It's all of these 10 shifts are completely different depending on your ascendant. For each of these 10 shifts, it's going to influence you differently. So you want to check that out as well. And again, my 2020 Vedic report is where you can see how all of those shifts affect your sign. So to get back to what I was saying though, this shift going through, the shift going from Sagittarius to Capricorn is a huge pivotal, moment for the soul's evolution even. It's very much where the soul is looking to overcome all of the sort of childish projections and notions. Because even when we're children, things inspire us. But then we have to work hard. We have our illusions shattered. And then we kind of give up. You want to understand that the zodiac is a holistic mandala of energy that is always evolving and developing, and cycles of growth and awareness and teaching and philosophies. These things are ongoing. They're happening all the time in all areas of life. And, this is why when I mentioned relative to where these shifts fall in your chart is going to be a major focus. I can give the example for my chart being Gemini. All this energy in Sagittarius, Saturn has been in Sagittarius since 2017. So Saturn going through Sagittarius has put a major focus on my relationships, not just romantic ones, but with all people. Because 7th house is about how we show up and compromise and how much we enjoy that, how much we resist it, how much we need good boundaries, all of this stuff. So now it's moving from the 7th house into the 8th house for the next couple of years. Now that's about what happens after we're engaged with someone, which is the 7th house. Then all of our insecurities, control issues, fears, projections come out, right? If you're a Leo, it's totally different. Saturn's been going through the 5th house of creativity and growth, wanting to create something. It moves from that into the 6th house of commitment, duty, hard work, effort, having to work hard to maintain those things that inspire you. So there's always an evolution, and this is a ongoing evolution in your life. And so again, with Jupiter moving from Sagittarius to Capricorn, it's showing a specific focal point in your life. And again, it starts the year in Sagittarius where there's that inspiration, purpose, teachings. Now is a time, as you're watching this in the middle of December 2019, to be purifying and connecting with gurus and teachers and higher wisdom and noticing those things that give you inspiration. What inspires you? And are the things that you thought were inspirational and those things you thought were inspiring, are they really inspiring to you? Or are they just kind of, sort of counterfeit inspirations based more on fears and based more on, your past beliefs and how you were raised and all these other things? There's nothing wrong with that. But again, when Jupiter especially goes into Sagittarius, it's time to elevate that because it's very powerful there. So now is a time to be evaluating all of your beliefs and seeing how inspiring they are. How inspired are those things that you already believe? Right? This is why I talk about, things like the politics and whatnot, because we project a lot of, okay, this is a hopeful leader. And leaders are very Sagittarian. It doesn't have to be God. We make things too big. It's what inspires us. So we're all inspired and hopeful that we'll have a better world. So we look at these leaders and these politics and this structure that we have and say, is this really inspiring? Is this really where I want the world to go? And it's something that we can all see. In Britain, they just had the Brexit, or they just had another referendum, and you see Boris Johnson won landslide over the Labour Party, the Jeremy Corbyn. Again, this is a big thing. We're seeing all these political shakeups. And it's made us reevaluate. The people in Britain had to evaluate, okay, what's really the direction that we want to go? So it's a collective kind of thing. Of course, in the US, we're having this stuff with Trump and the impeachments and stuff, and it's showing us what inspires us. Take it at a high level, it's literally your spiritual growth, your spiritual teachers, your spiritual gurus, and in all specific areas of your life. What kind of relationship do you want? What kind of relationship inspires you? What kind of career and work inspires you? Are you living in alignment with your higher purpose in those things, et cetera, et cetera? That's from Sagittarius. And then you'll think, okay, well, yes, this is the thing that inspires me. Okay, really? Now we go into Capricorn and say, okay, now are you willing to work hard for it? You think it inspires you until you have to focus on it and put it into practice and concentrate on it and keep doing it even when it stops inspiring you. It's very easy to say, oh yeah, I want to go see my teacher and my guru. I'm so elated. And then what happens when the guru or the teacher actually makes you work hard and shatters your illusion that they're this thing that's going to keep inspiring? That's not what happens. Eventually, everything of value takes work and effort and hard work. And the thing that maybe brought us to it, which was that inspiration that brought us to that thing, that inspiration gets shattered, and we look at it squarely and go, oh, this is actually hard work like everything else. And if the teachings are authentic, then the work will be worth it, and the work will be authentic. This is how you can tell whether or not teachings are authentic with you or anyone else. This is how you can tell whether or not, let's say, your love of astrology. I deal with it all the time because I'm a teacher. Every student I talk to wants to take my courses, and hardly any of them do. I don't say none of them do. A lot of them do, but the percentage is very small. This is why when people email me, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, or people, even show up, oh, I want to get a reading, I want to do this, I want all this. How much is it? Blah, blah, blah. They ask all these questions. I've heard it a million times. If every person that said they wanted to do something did it, I'd be a quadrillionaire. But people, and by the way, even people that might think they want to do it and they're inspired to do it, I always know that at some point, and it's a very small percentage of them actually, but this is why I always, give 30-day guarantee on courses and whatnot, because it's easy to say, oh, I really want to do this. And then they get it and they're like, oh, this is work. I got to actually work at this. And sometimes people don't want to do the work. And then they get mad at me. So I say, look, don't worry about it. Just give it a try. Try it. Yeah, you got to pay for it. Pay for it and try it. I'll give you 30 days to look it over and see, do you want to do this? And if not, I'll give you back your money. It's okay. But some people, and and again, it's very rare because I make sure to communicate these things clearly, but many times, I shouldn't say many, sometimes people will still not listen. They'll be like, oh, okay, I'll get the course. And like, for example, with my certification course, it's an online course where you have to do the work. I've already done the work. I've given all the material and I laid out a structure where you go through week by week. There's homework, there's all this, there's a community there to support you as well. But you have to do the work. And sometimes people think because they don't really listen means you're inspired in Sagittarius, but then you have to do the work in Capricorn. And they'll think that since they paid for the class, doing the work means not actually watching the classes and doing it, but emailing me 1,000 questions and asking any question they can think of, that's what they're doing, that now I'm privately tutoring them. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. I just use this as an example because we can often, even through our best efforts, be inspired to do something, but then the work starts and then you see how much it's really worth it. And I will also say, often when that happens and I explain to them, no, this is what you have to do. Here is the course. It's laid out this way, as was said. So just go through it this way. You can have a monthly conference call with me where I'll answer any questions that you have. So you get that access with me, but I'm not teaching the course on the monthly calls. I'm answering questions. Then they get it and they're like, oh, okay. And then they go back and try it and look at it and they're like, oh, wow, this is great. Okay. And it's fine. They just need it explained. So again, this is another level. But there are ones who, once they realize it's work, they're like, no. Very rare, but it happens. I just use this as an example because this is the Sagittarius to Capricorn energy, right? Any planet moving there. And of course, this is also, again, why Jupiter is debilitated there. Now, again, I say it like this. I don't even like to use the word debilitated, not because it's not a decent word, but because it winds up being a judgment. Rather than it being a judgment, it's something that you would need to explain. It's something that you need to explain. You need to explain debilitation, like why, and explain this planet Jupiter in this environment has stress, and this is why. And so that's why. That's all it is. That's all you need to explain when you see Jupiter debilitated. It's no more important than that. Just as a lesson, it's no more important than that hope and inspiration that has this elated feeling like, oh yes, there's this great thing now that I found. In Capricorn, it's like, takes all this work and effort, and we might get bogged down in that work and effort. We might get stuck in it, but what the work and effort does is reveals the truth. Because I will also tell you this, some of my best students have debilitated Jupiter in Capricorn, because once they find something that's really worth it, that really inspires them, frankly, they'll work their ass off. There's a real greatness in fact, with Jupiter in Capricorn. Again, because inspiration can be hard to find at times, because that's also one of the issues is, again, inspiration can be hard to find. It doesn't mean it isn't there. But once they find something or someone or a teaching or something that's inspiring to them, they'll work. They're like, oh, thank God. And they'll work and work to make it happen. So if you have Jupiter in Capricorn, that's very good news for you. That's all it means. And it means that your teachings and your inspirations are also very, they're very practical and grounded. There's a lot of strength and power in that placement as well. So again, I talk about these things this way because next year we're going to have so much of that energy as Jupiter pokes his head into Capricorn for 3 months, then goes back into Sagittarius. And then he'll be there for the rest of the year pretty much. And so again, this is just a few things that I wanted to bring out and talk about today, because I also wanted to just let people know, of course, about the web classes, and the free web class that you can get. I've left the link up there because it's very easy to take advantage of. You can just go and register if you haven't yet. I'll just post the link here again. That's the live, and then also the 2020 forecast. I'll just post the live link there again for your 2020 forecasts. And again, that's actually, I just got it done. I just got them completed. So they're all, as soon as you pay for the 2020 forecast, they're sent out. And, these 2020 forecasts, most people get all 12. It's $19.97 for your individual one, right? And again, what I do in that is I interpret all of these 10 things, these 10 most important shifts, I interpret them for your sign. Because again, it affects you. Your entire year is totally different based on your ascendant in relation to all of these shifts. But I also, it's $19.97 for an individual one, but you can get all 12 for $79. And I do that also because I have a lot of students, and it's a great learning tool as well to hear me explain these things from all these different points of view. Plus, you have a lot of people in your life that you might, want to understand. And I will tell you this, and I say this all the time, and people don't really believe it because everybody wants to make everything about their individual chart. Everything is so personal. It's actually not so personal. Frankly, nothing is really so personal. Some of it is, you have your dashas and your individual chart. But these things that I'm talking about are far and above, for the expense, let's say, that you would put out. Understanding these shifts and these big blocks of time and these big shifts that happen are really, especially how they influence relative to your ascendant, is probably about 50 to 75% on some level of at least how you're grappling with the world and how you're seeing and understanding things around you. You can see how just my explanations in general of the transits, even not relative to your sign, makes sense. Not to mention, once you bring in the sign, your ascending sign, and then saying, okay, this is going to put a focus on this part, like your creativity or your work or your relationship or your career, whatever it is. So all of these very profound shifts are going to influence each individual differently. And again, if you're a student, all 12 are, is very beneficial. But so I encourage you to go ahead and make sure to do that if you haven't registered for it yet. I see Amy is here. Amy, great for being here. We'll see you on the call tomorrow, I hope. We have a level 1 conference call tomorrow at 10 a.m. And Leisha was also here. Hopefully Leisha will be there. Leisha said, Sam's third class, he builds a framework by scaffolding the content. It's a lot, but eventually becomes integrated. Yeah. Again, it's that concentration. And again, even as you're integrating it to be able to read charts well, quote, which again, we have a goal when we're looking to study astrology, you know, our goal is to be able to read the chart well. And that's what I want everybody to be able to do. But even short of that, as you're learning the structure, as you're learning it, you're learning stuff that is so important, whether you can do astrology or not, or read the chart correct or not. Just to understand the nature of existence is profound. And so again, this is the main reason people study, or really should study. Leisha says, yep. The reason to study is because you want to understand this deeper, holistic wisdom that's not about you or about your limited understanding or your personal karma. Again, that's all the stuff we're stuck in. We're all stuck in all of that story, that whole kind of me. These are teachings that extend you and connect you with the universality of your nature. And it's not something bigger. It's like, oh, well, I get it, all that universal stuff, but what about me? Like they're different. No, that's the problem, is you identify with this me part. And actually, you are that universal energy, but you don't understand how it works. You might believe it somehow. Yes, you believe that it's right, but how does it work? What is it specifically? That's what, when I'm building the foundations in the course, like Leisha said, when I'm building those foundations in the course, that's what the foundations are. First, you're actually learning what the heck is going on. Like I say all the time, because you actually don't know it. And if you don't understand this, how can anybody learn astrology or do it properly? And by the way, this is one of the big problems we have with people doing astrology. You can learn the methods, the kind of, you know, the math equations and all, and be a good prediction machine. Absolutely. And that's not to negate it at all. But if it's not connected to the holistic wisdom of the universe, it's just a bunch of disjointed judgments or predictions or stuff that doesn't resonate. It's more important to get that resonant, holistic wisdom first. When you do that, then everything you do later is built upon that. So little commercial there, because I got some students here. And a few things. Ed Finn said PayPal wasn't an option when I went to purchase. That's right. It isn't. It still isn't. And it won't be. That's all, because of the payment processor. So that's that. And Sulci asks, are you going to continue the series about quantum physics and neuroscience? I love those videos. Well, they're part of when people are interested in, there's a course on it. You should get the course on it. Rather than that, you could go to my website and, you can even just Google Sam Jeppe Quantum Vedic Astrology, and you'll pull up a course on it. I know, God, money, you have to spend money. But yes, there's a whole course on it. And those videos were part of it. There was only about an hour, but they're also there, where it's like 3, 4, or 5 hour on me explaining and actually showing and teaching it. So I don't have any more videos on it. There's a course. That's what they're for. So anyway, I don't want this to get too much longer. I just wanted to really pop in and explain this, and also let people know, because there's so much happening in 2020, and especially because the forecasts are actually done, and especially the free web class, I definitely recommend people at least check that out. And even if you don't get the ones for your sign, at least understand these 10 important shifts that are going to influence you and affect you, and save and share this with other people. Again, the website, the URL is very simple. It's 2020vedicastrology.com. Couldn't be easier. And then when you go there, it just takes you right to this page to register. And then again, if you want to get your forecast, it's just my 2020 Vedic report.com. That will take you here. And I can take this note away. It said I'm currently finishing the 2020 forecast. They'll be done by December 13th. And they were. So they're done now. And we'll just leave it at that. And again, I'm glad everyone showed up. I'll see if there's any more comments or questions. It will mess up our phone if we try to open the video on it. I don't know. Again, how about getting off your phone, trying it on a computer or a tablet? Everybody lives on their phone, but no, you should be able to watch it on your phone. It says that you can watch it on your phone, so it shouldn't mess up your phone. The courses are a pot of gold. Thank you. I think so too. Courses are a pot of gold. And again, it was asked, will it mess up our phone if we try to watch a video on it? I don't think so. No, it won't mess up your phone. Just a website. So we'll leave it at that. And I'm glad people showed up today. And again, a lot of great stuff happening in 2020. And again, people who want to go to the web class there and then also get your Vedic report, again, you could just go to that website. I like to do a lot of free stuff. I even had people sometimes, they get snarky with me. Someone asked a question on my YouTube page about, there was something, they got a class for like $1 or something like that. And they thought that it included an extra and they didn't. And I let them know in the comments that the other, it was like an hour and a half class for like, $15 or something was an extra. Someone had a snarky comment. Yeah. In the spiritual commerce, they're always charging you and stuff. It's like, it's very sad that this is the world we live in where you can, do so much free stuff, frankly, that I do and a lot of other people do. And because you charge for anything, people get upset. But I don't think that's the case here. But just letting you know, I love doing a lot of free stuff like this. This is what I think about. I think of ways that I can create things that are going to benefit you, whether you pay for anything or not, and ways to make it easy and affordable and really put out some good information, hopefully, that can teach you about astrology and show you the nature of how things work and then invite you to go deeper. That's all I can do. It's just to invite people to go deeper if they want. If not, that's fine too. I'm happy with all of it. But, anyway, we hope to see some of you later. And Denise Zango, it was sent to you. I know I did it myself and I remember. So you have to look in it was a Taurus forecast, I believe. I remember people. You emailed me 3 or 4 times wondering where it was. At first, I said it wouldn't be done until December 13th, and it was, and I sent it. So you have to check your email address. That includes if it's Gmail especially, they put it in promotions folders and other folders. You have to do that. It was sent. So take it easy, everybody. Rora says, thank you so much. Thank you all very much for being here. We have, great stuff happening with all this, especially with Jupiter and Sagittarius. I wanted people to be ready for what it means when it's getting ready to shift into Capricorn and to stay and to really understand that it's not so bad. It just means that you have to focus and concentrate. And by the way, my certification course is opened again now, at least for the next week or so, until probably, at least the next week or so, because people wanted to get in some new people after my recent conference. So if you're hearing this and that's going on, go ahead and do it, because I'm going to stop it probably the end of next week. So anyway, certification course students, I'll see you on a call tomorrow. And we'll take it from there. One last thing, a person said, can we talk before I take a course with you to determine whether it would be the best fit? There's no need to talk with me personally. Join the email list. Again, so many people that want to talk. I lay it out so clearly. Okay, so go through and get the information. It's very easy to see it and see if it's the best fit. Again, the other thing that I do is you can try it to see if it's the best fit. Try it, literally. Get in the course. If it's not, I'll give you back your money. Again, I can't be any fairer than that. But again, just very quickly, the way this stuff works, people feel like they need to have a personal conversation with me, and they never actually just look at the material. In the personal conversation, I would show you about 10 hours of free training that I give you. I don't, but you know, before I would even let you in the course, I don't even let people in the course until they go through this training, because frankly, I don't want people in the course for who it's not a best fit. I don't want your money. I literally don't. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you on doing it. And I don't have time to talk to everyone who wants to have a personal conversation with me to see if it's a best fit. That's why I give away, you know, dozens and dozens of hours of free training as part of the certification course. So when you join the list to get more information about the course, you get all of that. Whether you join or not, it's all this free training. Then you decide whether or not it's the best fit. You don't even need to talk to me about it, because the ultimate thing is, after seeing all of this, does this sound like you might want to try it? That's about as easy as I can make it for somebody. Plus, I only have so much time. So it's not to be rude. I'd like to be able to talk to everybody, but that's all I can do, you know? So it's actually very easy, and you'd be shocked. And again, it's not saying I don't want to talk to you. It's saying, how about instead of talking to me personally, how about I give you 15 hours of free training? How about that? And again, it's also designed to say, hey, if you like this free stuff, and I say free stuff but it's very deep training. If you like this, what do you think the course is like? It's actually a way for me to show you what it would be like to study with me, because I already teach you for free. Again, this is why I do so much stuff like that. And again, I'm not acting like I'm some hero. The technology allows me to do it. This is the real blessing of this technology, is it allows me to do this stuff once and then just give people access to it. So again, this is the reason why so many people get the course, because they've watched all these videos and then they're like, well, yeah, I get it. I hear what you're saying. I understand why I would want to do this. So yeah, I'll take a chance. And then they do it and they love it. So, and you know, so that's the way, you know, that's the thing to, you know, to really think about. So anyway, Edmund says it's a great course. Just be ready to learn. Exactly. Edmund, we'll see you tomorrow probably. Edmund started, he was an absolute beginner, and very quickly the material is very deep, but it's unfolded at a very natural sort of pace. And it's really, you know, it's just there for you to, engage with. So anyway, we'll leave it at that, folks. And I appreciate all of the engagement, the interaction, and the questions. That's why I take the questions. And it's why I also do things live, because I want people's feedback. So again, I hope that was clear. So anyway, you take care, folks.